Hey there! Welcome to our stories.
Am I wrong for backing out of a girls' trip where I was expected to cheat on my husband? My female friend and I met in a local mommy group and agreed to do play dates with our kids. I was a stay-at-home mom, and connecting with other moms was my way of having adult interaction with kids in tow. Let's call her Shay. Shay and I got close, and she had other female friends that she wanted to introduce me to. I was excited to be welcomed into this friend group, and we were going to celebrate by going on a girls' trip. I was 100% down for it until I found out that they wanted to do an explicit adults-only cruise. They're all single, and we're excited to hook up with guys on the cruise and have some fun. The thing is, I'm married. We've been together 14 years. Because the nature of the trip changed from just us girls to sexual exploration with other adults, I figured that it was a given that my husband is automatically invited. I mean, I am married, so fidelity is expected. So in the group conversation at Shay's house with some girls on the phone, I said that I'll need to know the new dates ASAP since original plans changed, so my mom can watch the kids and my husband can schedule off to come. They grew silent, and my friend, Shay, gives me a dirty look and says,
Wow.
and I ask what's wrong. She didn't say anything, and everyone else was just uncomfortably silent. I asked, is there a problem with my husband coming? Shay said,
Yeah, it's a girls-only thing. I didn't think you would be that kind of friend.
I pointed out this is an adults only, basically a sex cruise, and so why wouldn't I bring my husband? Am I supposed to just watch y'all hook up and be the miserable third wheel? And Shay says,
Well,
and I cut her off because at this point, I am a little mad. I say I like sex too, and I need my husband so I can have somebody to have sex with. Shay says,
there'll be men on the ship.
another friend spoke up and said,
There's plenty of men to choose from, so you don't have to be alone.
and then I realized that they knew I was married and didn't care. They're expecting me to cheat on my husband. They said they're uncomfortable with my husband being there, and they would feel much better if I had sex with strangers instead. They didn't say it's better for me to have sex with strangers, but it was implied. Because they are planning on meeting guys and having some freaky fun on this cruise, they will be uncomfortable with doing that if my husband is there. I don't understand how it's just us girls if they're going there to pick out men to have sex with. It's not going to be just us girls if we are partnering up with men, but they're uncomfortable with my husband being there, and the solution to them being happy is if he didn't come. And if I didn't want to be lonely and want to be able to have sex while I'm on the trip too, then I should just pick one of the guys that are already going to be available on the cruise ship. I don't understand why I have to pick some random man that I don't know to have sex with when I've already married my chosen sex partner. They don't seem to understand that I'm not comfortable with sleeping with someone that's not my husband. They seem almost confused by why I would take fidelity so seriously. If my husband went on a trip with his male friends, I will be pretty upset if they pushed him to have sex with other women, not respecting our marriage. But it doesn't matter that I voiced that I wouldn't be comfortable, because according to them, their comfort outweighs me being uncomfortable, and that in order for them to be comfortable, my only choices are tagging along, not hooking up with any of the guys, and just watching them all hook up with guys, or cheat on my husband. It seems pretty weird that those are the only two options. I don't totally understand why my husband being present would make them feel uncomfortable, because they are single women. They're free to do whatever they want to do. What does my husband being present have to do with them? I had a little bit of a dark thought, and I was thinking maybe they want me to be in some type of compromising position so that they could, take pictures of it and maybe share on social media or accidentally send it to my husband. Why else would a group of single women want to isolate a married woman from her husband and push and pressure her into having sex with people that are not her husband, even though she voiced being uncomfortable and not wanting that? So I'm thinking maybe it's a setup, but then again, I don't know if I'm just thinking the worst of people because I can't wrap my head around why it's such a big deal about me wanting to not sleep with other men and only wanting to be with just my husband. And I also don't think that it's a girls' trip anymore if the objective is to hook up with men. That doesn't sound like a girls' trip to me. If you're just going to a place to partner up with men, that sounds like a group date type of thing. And I don't understand why I can't have my chosen date. Shay says bringing my husband is disrespectful. I got really mad and I lashed out and said I don't cheat on my husband and I won't be hooking up with randos on a floating STD ship, and backed out of the trip and went home. Of course, I told my hubby, who is upset that they're pressuring me into cheating on him, and he says, if I go, he goes. I was going to put my foot down and say I'm bringing my husband anyways, but now Shay won't even talk to me. She doesn't answer my calls or texts. Me and my kids are iced out as our kids were friends. She was so offended by my automatic invite of my husband. Maybe I was wrong not to ask first before planning for him to come. Was I wrong to assume this was a given since I'm married? I haven't been single in a long time. Is this the norm now? Would you consider a plan to sleep with random people a girls' trip? Her ending our friendship makes me doubt I handled it well. Am I crazy, or is this expectation unreasonable?
Let's check out some of the comments. I think they are manipulating you, whatever the reason. My thought is they are jealous of the fact that you have a husband. Especially when it comes to single moms, man, they can be bitter about the men they don't have in their lives. As someone who is married, I find it very hard to hang out with single people unless they're family or are a very specific type of person. Single people don't realize how often you have to consider other people, your spouse, once you're married. I think you dodged a bullet with this friend group. Hug your hubby tight. Being in a happy marriage is so rare these days. Yo, you are not crazy. They are encouraging you to cheat on your husband. Be glad they are not talking, because they are not good people. I would say cut contact with all of them. You will find better friends. I'm so sorry for their future boyfriends/husbands. Who says, in their right mind, to destroy someone's family? That's just cruel. Don't let them ever into your life again. Yep, you are not wrong. OP, you handled it well. They aren't your friends. And anyone who promotes cheating is someone that won't have your back in a hard spot. They don't respect you, so it's best if you find new friends. Them not understanding the concept of fidelity might be the reason they're all single, just saying. The single and married dynamic between friends is a real thing. Single friends, even those with a current significant other, and married friends have totally different boundaries. These are all good comments, but the last one hits closest to the mark in my opinion. As a married mother, you befriended a group of single mothers, emphasis on single. They are not tied to the same relationship guidelines as you. And even though you weren't trying to stop their promiscuous activities on the trip, you bringing your husband would have made it awkward during the downtime when females like to get together to compare notes about their activities with these men. I'm sure they didn't mind you knowing about their sexual escapades, but I doubt they wanted your husband there while sharing the details with each other. I think it's admirable as a wife that you didn't want to go on the girls' trip without your husband, but once you got a bit of resistance from the group, instead of becoming upset, you should have recognized that even though these are your friends, this just isn't the trip for you. On the other hand, I do agree that they aren't the best group of friends if their solution was for you to cheat on your husband. They also should have just let you know that maybe this particular girl's trip just isn't for you. All of this being said, it seems that you are more concerned about being left out of the group than recognizing whether or not you actually belong in this particular group. Maybe next time, look for other married mothers to hang out with. Thanks for once again joining us here at Our Stories. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. See you on the next one.